Random Monday Martin Nation, right? Holy.
Svit.
All right, let's see this.
Svit.
Tell me if the volume's okay.
Players want more challenge. The whole point of an extraction shooter is that you're challenged to even survive in this world.
We heard loud and clear from the alpha. The world didn't feel dangerous. The world didn't feel lived in.
Tau Ceti 4 to us is this place that really doesn't want you there. And that sort of survival narrative really fits really well with the kind of world that we're creating.
The world needs to feel like there is something sinister
and they have her
the
as the
surface,
new
even when the
position.
colors are really bright.
You should not be here.
We want to marry the classic Bungie game feel, where you are blasting stuff in the face and it feels amazing.
Is this gonna be just like completely mind-blowing for people who haven't been in any of the alphas or anything? Is it like the visual different? Because I'm trying to like put myself in a place of like having not seen it from April to now, and I'm imagining that like visually, and also it is a slight, and I saw someone comment this, slightly more consistent with kind of what you were seeing in the cinematic. But it's interesting to me, like from my perspective, a lot of these visual changes are exactly what I was envisioning would be there at the end. So I do wonder if like somebody who had just seen April and then now is just seeing now, I wonder if like that change is insane to them or not.
The sort of high tension of the survival genre.
If you want good loot, you have to go to places where you're taking risks, either risks from other players or risks from AI.
So we have all these tools now, Rook with Prox Chat and the way the game works and sort of how tense it is. I think all those things work together really well.
On March, yeah, right. Thank you, Smith.
You have another Rook. Come on, stop that. No. Sorry.
God, so much of the visual is so crazy. That fucking Spider-Man grappling hook is so rad. Vision of Marathon, Bungie Vidoc. Okay, so it's like interesting. You're in the technical test in October, and I'm still blown away by the environment, the lighting, and the gunplay. Right? Did you hide the Vidoc? Yeah, it was me. I was hiding it. God, the visual upgrades. I mean, always I felt like we're gonna be crazy, but yeah, it is cool to see it kind of shown off in this way.
The Marathon ship is essentially a ship that we sent out from
more
Earth,
on the floor of the
that was overpopulated to explore and colonize a star far away that we call Tau Ceti. In a lot of ways, it's like the tale of humanity trying to go out into the dark void of space, find a place to colonize, and failing terribly at it.
Everyone's gone, something catastrophic happened, and it's not just their absence that's important, it's the things that they left behind.
The modern race to Tau Ceti all started when a mysterious signal came through the galaxy.
The turmoil that sort of ensues gives rise to all these corporations that were invested in this Marathon project, now going, what happened? How do we recoup our investment?
And then layered on top of that is the greed and corruption of all of the different factions and corporations and revolutionary groups.
In our version of the world, we send people out, not just discover what happened, but also to collect.
This is just like, March, your birthday month, so it couldn't be more happy. Dude, what a great present, right? Where's the cat? I'm sure it's going to come up. It is, I mean, like, it's awesome to see them putting world building and, well, yeah, right, world building and narrative stuff kind of right here at the beginning. Something I think all of us have agreed on is that that's like such a shining spot for the potential of this game, and it's clearly like they are aware of a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm sure a lot of this video is going to be about how they responded to that feedback, but yeah, it's cool to see it like put front and center in terms of the idea, and also to see John Goff on here, who wasn't involved with any of the April stuff, and to see Julia Nardin, kind of really centering on this kind of beginning of the Vidoc is rad. Too early, but thanks. It's a little bit of an early birthday, but hey, this is 3 months of marathon hype is also your birthday present.
From the things that remain there, and those people are runners.
As a runner, you're a biocybernetic mercenary who's traded their human body for a biosynthetic one.
You're not an unkillable god slayer. You are a mercenary, a disposable mercenary. You will live, you will die.
They are not people. You are the person. You go into that shell and adopt the personality.
Okay. So that's okay. Hold on.
Matrix that is specifically designed to help you do the thing that you need to do. And you've been hired by these factions to come to Tau Ceti to scavenge it for anything that might be of value.
As a runner, you've left your body behind. You've traveled light years so that you can have access to the ultimate payday.
With extraction shooters, it is all about survival.
Let me just, I'm gonna just come back just a little bit because I want to hear that again.
As a runner, you're a biocybernetic mercenary who's traded their human body for a biosynthetic one.
You're not an unkillable god slayer. You are a mercenary, a disposable mercenary. You will live, you will die.
They are not people. You are the person. You go into that shell and adopt the personality matrix that is specifically designed to help you do the thing that you need to do. And you've
Okay. Oh, so you adopt the personality matrix.
been hired by these factions to come to Tau Ceti to scavenge it for anything that might be of value.
As a runner, you've left.
Okay, and that thermal optic is so fucking nasty. All right. Interesting. Not a drill. How's it going, Ace? So they are not a person, you're the person. Okay, so it's no longer, it's much more in line, it seems like, from a storytelling perspective with what we were initially thinking, you know, prior to the stuff in April. So they're kind of pulling back on giving the runner's personality or character. I think obviously that's in line with what people wanted generally. I am curious to see, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot of story stuff was set up around the characters, despite the fact that they did have backstories and they were actually characters originally. But also, it is kind of interesting to see the difference now between the Alberto Mialgo cinematic, which did seem like very heavily centered around the concept of like who these runners are as people. I do think that's obviously going to be a very welcome shift for people, but I think from a gameplay perspective, we are still inhabiting the body of the run. In effect, nothing is changing in the sense that you still load into the character and you still have those abilities and visual look that's locked to them. But from a narrative perspective, they're saying that you get the freedom of kind of placing yourself in this identity. And that applies even to the personality. Full watcher and then talker. I'm going to kind of go along the way just so that I can talk through things and understand them in my head. That's my concept right now. Yeah, okay. I'm happy that they turned them into classes. They don't really seem like it seems like gameplay-wise, it's the same. But how they're presenting them in the story is more in line with what people wanted. So it's kind of that like almost Destiny idea where like each individual person is the hero of the story and you're inhabiting the body of these runners to have the experiences on Tau Ceti. But like we're not going to learn about who Blackbird or Glitch or Void is as a person because people complain that being a hero shooter, yeah. Could lead to some very interesting storylines where personalities are infecting your consciousness. Is that something they even explore, though? Or do they just utilize this as they did turn them into... You were there. I mean, a class would imply to me that it's like... A class would imply like the finals kind of system to me, where it's like you just pick like are you a small guy, medium guy, or a heavy guy, and then you get to build off that. But it doesn't seem like necessarily from what they're saying at this point that you're changing the abilities or anything. It's just the way that they're going to present them as characters is not that these are active individuals within the storyline. They're just personalities that you as the individual runner can inhabit. Which, like I said, it seems like a different direction than what was being set up by the cinematic, but one I think is more in line with gameplay stuff. But it also, to me, conceptually seems like something where they're not going full in either direction. You're not going to get the customizability that you're wanting if you're coming from, say, a Destiny, but also you're not getting kind of the narrative exploration of them as characters. Not that that's a bad thing. I just think it's interesting that they're going that direction. Fox, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by.
Your body behind.
Lead to each frame or class can have a variety of content in the future. Think various supers for each type of type in D2. Yeah, I just don't know that it changes. I just don't know that it changed anything in terms of like how you're playing the game, right?
So that you can have access to the ultimate payday.
With extraction shooters, it is all about survival. There are other people who want the same things that you want, and it's
That
up
looks
to
so
you.
rad. Especially
to
this scene looks a lot like the cinematic right there when they're in the top down at AI
There's
uplink.
quiet periods where you're listening for the anticipation of something. Could there be another crew in the distance? Did I just hear a gunshot? Did I hear AI just alert?
They gotta honk the horn. Please honk the horn if you're in here.
And then there's the loud, bombastic action moments where the minute something is alerted, the minute you're in that fight, now it's go time.
Interesting that are they seemingly showing like a duo here?
Pose a lot of danger to you. They can make a lot of decisions that you might find illogical and completely trick you into scenarios. Sometimes the best loot box
March
is another player
26th
that
is the
you see
date,
along the
okay.
run. So there's a few different
Mass
ways
painting,
to play the
nice.
game. So one
Tough
of them
person to
is
catch
you
alive.
play
Well, I
in
appreciate
group,
you stopping
both
by.
with your friends and also through crew fill, which will just match you with two other
Forehead.
players. You can play solo, and you'll jump into a gang with a bunch of other solo players.
In solo, I think the stakes are a bit higher, right? You have only yourself to rely
Did he say you come
You
in
still
with
have
other
props
solo
stats.
players? Well, let me just...
Sometimes the best loot box is another player that you see along the run. So there's a few different ways you can play the game. So one of them is you can play in group, both with your friends and also through crew fill, which will just match you with two other players. You can play solo, and you'll jump into a gang with a bunch of other solo players.
In solo,
Oh shit, marathon,
Okay.
what did I miss?
Well, they're back. We're still at the beginning. They started with talking about the world building and narrative stuff, darker tone, moving away from, you know, personalities for the runners. Now they're talking about the new fill options, or basically how you can matchmake. So they are adding a solos only mode. So is it possible to, because it used to be if you load in solos, restart Fizz, yeah. It used to be that solos would load into other groups of three. Even if you had two, if you had a duo or you were solo, you would still load in with other trios. And I believe your solo spot took up like a trio team. So let's say you loaded into perimeter and you had 4 teams of 3 loading in. The team of 1 would still count as one of the teams that loaded in. So you could drop player count by 2 or 4, 6 people if you had multiple people loading as solo. But now the solos will enter solo only games.
So how does this tie marathon into the Tarkov video game universe?
Yeah, we'll figure that out. It wasn't solo technically, it was no crew fill. Yeah, exactly. So now they have an actual solo playstyle, which is fucking rad. Kami, how's it going? I know, dude, we're getting through it right now. I hope you're doing well. Okay. I mean, I think that's obviously fantastic. One of the larger complaints is that people who didn't have a trio or a team weren't going to be able to engage with the game in a way that felt satisfying, and that kind of entirely eliminates it. Now it's going to be about how does whatever is there one character that's going to be wildly more beneficial in solos. My experience from the alpha back in April would say that perhaps Void isn't as strong as people think it is, but also maybe that invisibility is worth it. But I'd imagine if everyone is solo, I bet there's going to be a lot of abilities that play off each other. And I feel like Blackbird's probably going to be pretty fucking gnarly, right?
Stakes are a bit higher, right?
See
You have only yourself to rely on.
You still have proc chat, so you can call out to other solos, but you are playing a tense alliance game where it's really up to them whether or not they decide to
I
honor or
imagine the
respect
friendliest
alliance you might
encounters
have
are going to happen
created.
in solos, right?
It's all about figuring out what's your investment, what's your stake, when to get in, when to get out, and when to kill the other guy. Being good at marathon is like playing poker with guns.
One of the things we've really focused on is making sure the environments are selling the tone we want to hit with the game.
We've brought a little bit of groundedness, a little bit of grit, a little bit of darkness, a little bit of that mood that kind of is necessary for an extraction shooter to feel dangerous.
Our biggest goal has always been player immersion.
We're trying to keep everything as believable and realistic as possible.
So we cranked up all the material responses, feel accurate, feel realistic. You'll get gloss, you'll get crud and mud. And no one of those things is all that sexy, but when you layer it.
God, see, like even this is Marsh, right? This is AI uplink here, I'm pretty sure. Man, visually it looks really amazing, but also in my head I'm like, this is what I was envisioning, right? This is what I was envisioning when they had put out the alpha, that it just wasn't complete yet. But it is cool to see this like realized with a lot of these textures. Man, that fucking fog is so dense, which I think is helpful on Marsh, basically, to kind of eliminate kind of these super long engagements, make things feel a little tighter.
Bit more, responsive to light, a little bit more responsive to the player. Things will part, water will pool. Layer in all these different things, the world becomes much more alive. It feels like a real place, and then when you're feeling like a real place and you feel in danger,
that thermal scope is so fucking sick.
Now your run matters.
I look back at some of the alpha shots, and it's kind of hard to tell when it's sunny or when it's rainy. Weather feels like weather now. But like when it's sunny, you get this really nice like bleaching effect. It feels bright. It feels like warm when it's sunny now. I feel like we're just celebrating that color so much more. I think it just contributes to the whole effect. I feel like we're just celebrating that.
Yeah, I think what this is it station on perimeter? Yeah, dude, the brightness and the sun coming out. I mean, it looks really fucking
so much
rad.
more. I think it just contributes to the whole effect.
So we have dead bodies in the game now.
And
we also have.
I do like the disparity between the weapons and the environment, especially the natural environments. I think it looks fucking
like decay on the runners themselves. Like you'll actually see them fall apart. We're actually dropping the body. The body stays there, and the body slowly decays over time as you loot it.
So when you come into a room and you see a bunch of carnage, but you see one body is still pristine, you know that their killer is probably close, and you are not.
That is fucking
If
cool.
everybody is just a messy goop, you're probably okay.
All these like unique visual cue things are so cool.
Every sound plays a function.
They are so right about focusing on that audio immersion to tie all these fucking beautiful graphics together. God damn.
Footsteps tell players everything. It's telling you what is the type of threat that's around you. Where are they at? Are they above you? Are they far away? Are they close by? So if I'm in bioresearch and I hear a particular material type, I know, hey, they're on the second floor and they're in this room. Our hero is the world. So we're constantly trying to figure out where can music help reinforce what is the vibe and intent of this place.
There was the discussion about the interaction between score and sound design.
Oh,
and I wanted
hey.
to create a score that wasn't just like full of instruments you've heard before. The job was, how can I make what I'm seeing, this race to survival, even more nervous and even more terrifying or even more thrilling?
Dude. Yeah, the Sun Lux guy. It's cool. It's cool to fucking see him involved with this.
We have 4 zones, and
headstones.
each one of those zones has
okay.
its own sort of approach to kind of level design and what it asks players to kind of think about and do. You're going to start with perimeter. You're kind of on the outskirts of the colony. It's a little more spread
Very
out.
curious
You got
to
a
see
little
if they
bit
show any
more
of the
areas
marathon
to
map.
be
I
safe and
think
to
I saw it
sneak
in the
around,
chapters,
but it's also a little more straightforward.
It really brings this sense of scale. It sits like in our fantasy as expansion site for the colony on the very edges of where they had settled on Tau Ceti. UESC are also there trying to understand what has happened and secure the area. Death is a part of Marathon. It happens a lot, even on perimeter, which we talk about as a more friendly zone to new runners. You are still gonna die a lot.
Attention, unauthorized runner. You are trespassing in a military security zone.
See, all of the stuff where you interact in the environment, anything that's going
really
to be
important to us that the UESC were not
changing
trivial
like that
to
is going
fight.
to be so
When you
sick.
face them on Tau Ceti as a runner, you are the outlaw. You are trespassing.
They have a little bit of this haunted tone, so you can see they have.
I do like the idea of seeing changes to the bots, obviously, like just tuning how they interact with you. And like the last thing I talked about, I would love to see them like doing things at locations instead of just being kind of like a security force that's standing there. But I do wonder if maybe at the end of this, they're going to talk about a little bit of enemy variety, as the bots that we have now basically just come in different varieties of challenge, right? It's just smaller bot, bigger bot. And that's basically where it's at, aside from obviously the hints to the SFIT compilers that we've seen throughout the original alpha, at least. They show the bags sometimes, but not in others. I'm unsure if bags have been removed altogether or if bags with stuff still in it will still be on the floor. It doesn't seem like we're seeing any shots of people looting the physical bodies. But you're right, we haven't seen the bags with all the bodies. But that decay, I wonder how they would, do the positioning, perhaps. Like if a body did die and it is decaying, is it going to be right on top of it? And how would that let you know? Kohack, how's it going? One of your videos just became my screensaver, 4 minutes long. Oh, that's fucking rad, dude. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you.
This floating locomotion, they get these sparks, they have these sigils over their faces. Sometimes their behavior feels almost like they're possessed a little bit, like are they taking in commands from a remote AI. The elite tier is sort of like this dark blue. The mini boss tier is more like a lilac. The boss tier is just gonna be dipped in red.
They have these tendrils
Dude. Wait, hold on. Let's see the boss tier. That is not what they looked like, right? That is like very, if you played Death Stranding 2. God, that looks so fucking rad. I wonder if they still... Do they still have the face underneath? Because remember, the higher tier UESC bots had like a face that made it almost seem like they were runners wearing armor, whereas the smaller ones seemed like basically bots. Yeah, they were purple. I think you're right.
They have these tendrils that latch out and leech onto you and start sucking away at your consciousness.
Yep. Oh, I've been sucked many a times. Oh, interesting. They're sucking. Wait. So that's what they're doing. They're sucking your consciousness. So like gathering like your neural data. So I wonder if like some of it is kind of like, now that we are ourselves inhabiting the personality and form of these bodies, it's kind of like a little bit kind of irrelevant in the sense, but I do wonder if like from the narrative side of things, is what they're doing just extracting the data of like that run, so they have all of our memories from like what just occurred, or and then like when we get reset up by CyberAcme, is it just wiped so we don't remember that event, or is it something where there is some sort of like canonical through line of memory for the individual runners if they die to getting bot sucked?
Into Marsh, you're starting to understand something bad
Purples
happened
are
here,
minis.
and you're seeing signs of that in a way that wasn't apparent on Perimeter.
On Dire Marsh, we've got the anomaly, and it's this strange alien entity that has erupted up out of the ground.
You're really feeling signs that this is more of an epicenter of where things went wrong on this colony.
It's got a different style of gameplay. It's more like a central complex that is rich with...
Something I do just have to say here, if I tried PUBG Blackout yesterday, and PUBG Blackout is another extraction shooter coming out that has an anomaly that is a big shimmery wall where gravity stops working, and if you go in it disrupts your DNA and has like effects on the biological life on the island. Like literally there's so many connections there that I'm like, when I was playing, I was like, okay, this is kind of encroaching on a on a interesting situation, especially that's extraction shooter. I do like the changes that they made to the anomaly. I did kind of like the purple pinkish kind of glow to it. It does seem like there's still some of that warbling, like oil spill kind of component to it, where it's like refracting light in a weird way, but that clearness does look pretty fucking slick.
Overlapping areas
and
regions.
I do wonder if certain areas of the like because like here it just looks like a flat white structure, but I do wonder if at certain angles you're actually going to be able to see through it.
That you can find yourself kind of bleeding from one encounter to another.
It's a great map to go in when you just want some action, and you're gonna need somewhere to farm.
Each map has different weather systems, it has different dynamic events that can happen, and your approach to them is never going to be consistent.
One of the needs that the design team thought that we should have is more challenging PvE activities.
Each of our zones has these bigger events that don't happen every session, but when they do happen, you'll know they're happening.
Dude.
Building these types of events into the world shake up your run and make
Massive
you decide, like, what do you
folding
want to risk?
billboard shits are so fucking cool. I say billboard, but obviously that's not
Then you get to Outpost.
exactly what that is. Hope you're doing well, Quack. Gooey,
An
how's it going?
Outpost is a more functional...
Wow! Wait, hold on. Let's see that overall shot of Outpost again. Hold on.
Then you get to Outpost.
Dude. So incredible. And what are these like legit fireworks going off in the sky? Look at them. They look like actual fireworks. I feel like Outpost is going to be one of those maps where the things that everybody loves visually from the other maps, it's going to shine the most. The skybox, as we can see here, those hard surface, the interior lighting, because obviously we're seeing a lot of structures here. Holy moly, not fireworks? Gotcha. Those look fucking crazy, dude.
An outpost is a more functional, thriving UESC facility. There's scan drones flying overhead, the UESCs everywhere, there's
okay, wait, so that's interesting. Is that the first new kind of
there's scan
so this is probably the first new actual enemy. I don't know if it can actually damage you, but it says it's a scan drone, but this is the first new thing we're seeing, which I think is interesting. They're saying that it's here on Outpost. Is it going to pop up on the other maps that confirmed? Stand outside and look at them when they come. Yeah, I'm sure you won't get injured. I do think that's a good addition. Also, if it like limits the amount of like actual enemies that are in certain locations, so it's like you can still, there's still a threat because you have to maneuver around the surveillance drone, but also you're not necessarily constantly dealing with a large barrage of enemies, especially if what they're saying is the direction they're going in is wanting to make the bots more of a threat to players.
Drones flying
Snitches,
overhead,
yeah, right.
The UESCs everywhere, there's tripwires, there's a weather hazards. It's a lot of stuff you're up against from the get-go.
Outpost is a smaller map, but it's also
Kinda
a lot more
got a Home
vertical.
Alone
It's built around
situation.
a specific...
Wow! God, that is such a great fucking shot. Optical system array is what it says down here in the right corner. God, that looks so fucking cool.
Building that we call the pinwheel.
This is just this meat grinder of a structure that's like a corkscrewed building that has nooks and crannies and hallways, and it just becomes a real, real cluster when you're in there fighting.
Yeah, see, look at these interior spaces, man. Such a great like compact arena. So it has like this cool verticality and this bespoke kind of like approach. Like just imagine 3 teams merging in this area.
Opportunities.
Oh my god, dude, wait, hold on.
The pinwheel hosts some of the best loot opportunities.
Dude, thief, good golly. Hope they do an open beta closer to release so people really get their hands on Marathon and see how truly special it is. Latest playtest really made you happy too. Glad to hear it. Man, yeah, the loot visor. Oh man, that shit looks fucking good. It's so awesome to finally see Thief realized like in this way, especially when we remember what we got the concept art for Thief back in November, and we had the concept art images from inside of the first Vidoc, year before that. Holy shit, man. Oh, and you see the numerous colors for the different loot that she's scanning for.
The pinwheel hosts some of the best loot opportunities.
A yellow, purple, green, and blue. Wow.
But it's noisy. Players are going to know you're doing it.
About
so
to
there's
fucking
extra
find
risks.
some good shit in there. Mommy. Mommy, sorry. Dude, were those 3 of the mini bosses
The
just
character you're
spawning
going to
in
spend
right
the
on
most
top of
time
them?
with is the zones. Understanding each personality of every zone. That's the storytelling every player gets.
Every time you're on the planet.
My god. Okay, so that's a despite any hesitation or I might have about changing the approach to certain things I think could have been interesting with what the cinematic setup and the characters themselves, to hear that from John Goff, obviously such a huge part of the narrative, that's fucking awesome. That is a great, especially for introducing story in this kind of much larger scale, I feel like, than a lot of what we have into an extraction shooter, to really focus on giving like a story that's contained to both the POI maybe, but also has ramifications or leads to like follow-on thoughts for other locations, and kind of treating the POIs as stories or characters within themselves is that's a fantastic thing to hear, especially when you consider the feedback that they've gotten about creating this kind of interesting world. I mean, that's awesome. That's what a well-articulated point that he just made.
You can look up and see the ship.
Oh, Jesus. Hold on 1 second. May have fucked my thing up there for 1 second. A little bit of a fixaroo. There we go.
Floating and looming in the skybox, reminding you of why this place even exists, but also reminding you
Wait,
that
they just showed all 3 skyboxes, which this is something we've been talking about since.
Reminding you of why this place even exists.
Just seeing like the different positions from each of
Darren
these
Dole gave
locations.
some commentary.
Oh, does he? Oh, shit.
But also reminding
We'll
you
have to
that
wait
something
and see it.
up happened here, and you got to figure out what it was.
But just something about speculating kind of where these locations are. I think the conclusion that we came to with Dire Marsh Perimeter, that they were both on Tau Ceti 4 itself, obviously. But that like it did look like there was multiple, orbiting bodies in the sky that seemed to have some kind of activity or something going on.
Marathon has a lot of loot in it. It's a huge pie. There's a ton of different implants at every rarity. There's a ton of different runner cores for each runner. There's over 400 weapon mods. Like, it's just an outlandish number of items to collect.
There's going to be a really interesting
you can
period
tell
of
the team has always been really
where
focused on
players
that
sort of figure
build
out what are the
crafting
pieces
idea.
that I have available to me, how do I get them, and how do I put them together into something that's awesome.
All of the guns. I mean, despite the fact that like they do look super modular, and I feel like that is something that they're going to continually be fighting, is like the idea of how much customizability you have. The animations that they have for them are so fucking sick, and it does seem like they want the build crafting to kind of fill the void of where people might be kind of wishing for that more, direct impact on your character, choosing your own abilities or choosing your own visual presentation and assigning those things yourself. And it seems like maybe they're trying to like kind of create this happy middle with the game that they're actually making and what people were kind of expecting or hoping for in that regard, by introducing the depth of the build crafting system within the weaponry and within the cores and implants, while simultaneously still kind of restricting you to like certain abilities with certain characters and visual look, which, I think that is like a cool way to do it, given that they are listening to the feedback while obviously still making a project that is, of their own creation.
You can go through and look at how many iconic weapons have come from Bungie, and it's something that we really want to hold up.
Dude,
And
is
make
that
sure
is that a
we're
BR?
matching
Is that
legacy.
just straight up a battle rifle?
And it's something that we really want to hold up. And
that looks fucking sick, dude.
And make sure that we're
2025, 2026 battle rifle, right?
Visually, they're all really, really distinct and clearly Marathon, but we wanted animation-wise a majority of them to feel recognizable. So when you put them in your hands, you knew how to use them.
mods will basically allow you to increase certain stats.
Okay, so that, yeah, right, that is the battle rifle, right? We want you to be able to recognize, yeah, we're doing marathon stuff, but we want you to recognize that we know what we're doing here. We're Bungie. We're giving you the BR. We're giving you the BR. Don't
On
worry.
the guns, that battery SMG, the gold mod full-blown turns it into the needlet.
Oh my god, dude! To even just say it like that, that is cool. That's a cool moment to, especially because obviously such a large conversation around like new Bungie, old Bungie, and all this stuff. I mean, obviously, these people. There is like obviously carry through and connection, and Lars Bakken and having worked on Halo, and a bunch of people involved, but also to hear like that those are feelings and weapons that they too are so fond of. That's just fucking rad, man.
The
Bungie
sidearm is a
indeed.
gun that
Bungie.
is effective in close quarters, but maybe not too much outside of that.
Look at that thing, man.
But the gold mod on this gun puts a suppressor on it, and then when I kill something with this gun, I turn invisible.
Oh my god.
And then that lends it to other build crafting
any kill.
if I want to sort of stack into how invisible can I be.
Dude, invisibility with like a locust or something? Okay,
Even
so it's
some
not when you
weapon
down
mods
them,
can
it's when you get the
improve
kill,
stats
actually.
and your runner shell's capabilities. So there's lots of different ways to raise the.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, they're like this is like crazy as fuck. It is interesting, like, because despite the fact that you're not getting that 100% freedom to customize the exact way you want, still imagine the kind of options you're going to have, especially if these types of mods are attainable maybe through a store or something that you could stock up on or build yourself. I don't know exactly how they're going to have them, because obviously if you're going to get a gold mod, let's say you find that gold mod once a season, then kind of the ability to build craft does go away. But if they were to introduce a safe pocket or a way to like easily obtain some of these items that do allow people like, well, I want to play as this very hyper specific Locust or Blackbird build that kind of utilizes invisibility to move around and get the pains on or whatever it is, that is going to create some really, really cool potential for people to easily kind of create a build that they can work with pretty heavily. And my assumption is going to be that like most people are going to main one class, right? So they're going to be hunting for those cores and those things throughout the season. How's it going, Doctor? I hope you're doing well. Just keep watching. All right.
So that you're coming into each run strong.
I just love that fucking
Stop
thermal
yapping and
scope.
keep
Is so
watching
good.
to answer your question.
Oh my god, the dual revive with the that medic's super ability. God, that's
a
good.
bioprinted body that you inhabit when you go down to Tau Ceti to scavenge the ruins of the Lost Colony. Each of our launch shells.
Hold on. Let me just hear that one more time. And dude, now I'm thinking about the fucking thermal with a void. So you're inside the smoke, you're invisible, and you can see everyone else. Holy shit.
Ceti to scavenge the ruins of the Lost Colony.
Appreciate you, Nemesis. Thank you.
Each of our launch shells is really an archetype of gameplay. So if you want to play like a frontline tank, if you want to play a
Boundless
that wants to sneak around, if you want to find those rats, we have a shell for you.
Find the rats.
The idea there is like have a broad spectrum that everyone can kind of find a little bit of a home to, and then we're going to build on top of that.
Cores and implants mold the kit into a playstyle that you want.
So examples of those are like, on Thief, I get a second grapple. On Destroyer, I pull out my Riot Barricade, and as it takes damage, it's actually converting that damage into shield back to me.
Okay, and I don't know if they've said it. This obviously, you know, I've been involved with some playtests, so some stuff I'm trying to make sure I don't, based off that, you know, break some sort of NDA. But that is confirmation also, and maybe they'd said earlier, I missed it, but they're changing the names of the characters, which is that leak that we had heard a few weeks or maybe a month ago at this point. Another thing kind of further moving away from that initial idea of characters. But Destroyer for look, am I gonna, is it just gonna be us? Are we going, SivDev, how's it going? Nemesis. You were in the October playtest. Now change the database on our feedback is amazing. That's great, dude. Yeah, I'm but I feel like I'm gonna be the only one, or maybe we're all gonna be the only ones, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna not be able to say Locust or Blackbird or Glitch. So maybe that's how you'd be able to tell like a true OG with Marathon is, well, oh yeah, well what do you call the main cast, the initial fucking group of runners that we got?
And these can be used in combination with each other to shift the gameplay style of your runner kit.
Oh my god, wait is that a glitch core that like causes like a blast that emits when you land on the ground after like a double jump? Wait, let me just see it one more time.
Of your runner kit.
That is fucking gnarly. I also love how like it's
the gameplay
all the
style
blue blood is way more on display. Like look, we got track blue blood there. We got him
At
fucking
any point
exploding
you feel
too.
like you don't want to risk anything, or maybe you're down on your luck and you want the opportunity to get back, Rook's your guy.
Beast remain, hell yeah.
Rook is
Totally.
a prototype runner
Thank you,
shell.
Quack.
It's a mode where we make it easy for you to just kind of drop into a match that's in progress and run about and try to scavenge as much as possible.
You are going in solo to a run that's already in progress. You don't have a team, you have a very limited loadout, but you're not risking anything. This lets you kind of get in, grab a little bit of loot, and then bail.
Oh, look at that sneak.
So
you
when
gotta
you
love
get,
a sneak extract. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to hear like what the commentary is on this or what people think of the changes, because like from my perspective, I'm, you know, going back and thinking about the things that people didn't connect with in terms of this being an extraction experience. Dealing with the solos was like one of the major things I feel like from a gameplay mechanics standpoint that people are upset about. And to see that I mean, from my perspective, largely what other way can you solve it other than introducing a scav type character like in Tarkov and giving solo fill option where you're only going up against solos? I mean, I feel like I feel like that resolves that issue of saying that this isn't going to be approachable for someone unless they have, 2 other people to play with. That's awesome.
A really powerful gun or implant or core. It is unlocking.
Oh my God, that hard
new
line looks
space or new
fucking
challenge that
crazy.
you've never done before, and the loot is helping you reach greater heights.
Dude, the colors are so good.
Faction agents are such a big vehicle.
Hold on. Holy shit, dude. The biomata like stacked in like rows like this, that is so fucking awesome.
Faction agent.
It's interesting. I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting in the minutia here, but so these silkworms aren't like, it's purple that they're have the color on, and I can't see what the marking is on them. But if we remember from the very first ARG, we had Sakaguchi in the emails saying, oh, well, we're worried about giving Traxxas access to these birthing pods because what if they reverse engineer the tech or something? And it's like, oh man, what if that's what happened? And it would be cool to see, like, if even still in the visuals now they're referencing that stuff to really kind of reaffirm that, hey, all of this like back stuff that people have been interested in, all of our ARGs and stuff is still canonical, at least in some meaningful way to the story. That is fucking rad. And seeing kind of the alternate color scheme, and I can't see the markings, but you remember some of those silkworms had the Sakaguchi genetics and the shit on their fucking, front of the silkworm. Hollow, how's it going? Your thoughts? Nice, Hollow. Hope you're doing well. That's how lips are made. Soul's gonna make a solo campaign that Joko would break down in 3 years. Love it. Yeah. I would love to see that.
Are such a big vehicle for tone and narrative for the world.
Each
I haven't seen
faction
the whole thing yet.
has their own motivations.
Hold on,
their
wait. Let's get a look at this. Okay. Interesting. So they're showing the AI, and love to see Arachne's AI is my assumption here. But getting this kind of side shot of all of them is amazing. So we have Oni, Gaia's Vulcan, we have Maida's AI, we have Arachne's AI. And it's interesting that Sakaguchi seems to be the only one. I mean, unless their AI is a worm, which would be fucking amazing. Like, come on now.
Each faction
trying to get everyone to rewatch it.
has their own motivations, their own desires, the things they're going to ask you to do.
We've got Traxxas. They're the most powerful corporation in human history. They have very long arms and very deep pockets to kind of get what they want.
So they might ask you to go and find specific weapons or mods.
Congratulations, runner. Your last performance evaluation was rated on track.
If you're a PvP player, one of the factions is called Arachne. They're
Oh
essentially a
shit!
death
Look
cult.
at that,
What
dude.
that translates to is
full
that they're asking you to
Baphomet
go and
vibes,
kill
right?
other runners.
They're a death cult. Okay, all right. Well, and it's awesome that comes from Lars, obviously.
Praise
because,
to the worm gods.
Yeah, there we go. Obviously, because we got to interview him and he was super cool and kind. But to get the confirmation, oh my God, and they're in AI Uplake. They're in where the AI cores are underneath in that gold key room from the alpha, aren't they? Or at least a different location that has those same AI core pillars. But to get that from Lars back, that Arachne is a fucking death cult, that's so cool. I kind of trying to remember some of the theories we had. Obviously, like corporate espionage people, I think was the one that I was sticking with, or some sort of like Blackwater CIA type people. But holy shit, dude, a death cult, and that makes so much sense. I feel like considering a lot of what we're seeing right now are, players within the corporate world. I feel like Oni and Cyberacme are kind of like positioned outside of it, at least from what we've seen so far. Whereas, it seems like they're, obviously they were like the tutorial
Marathon
faction.
for the
but,
win.
Oh yeah, dude, right? It's been confirmed by Nard in Discord that the lion is actually the AI for Traxxas. Yeah. We knew that Vulcan, right? Yeah. I hope you're doing well, Serintar. Arachne's aesthetic is rad as fuck, but not sure about their ideals. Seems a little crazy. But to get back to that, I'm saying that right now a lot of the factions we have all represent similar concepts and ideas in that, like, they're, either a government like the UESC, or they're a company like a megacorp like everyone else, or Maida, who's a revolutionary, but also kind of falls in line with this idea that like what they're doing is tied to like governance, controlling people. And I feel like you know, if you look at large organizations or groups that try to control, it's like you kind of have companies, governments, you know, or societies, revolutionaries or rebel groups. And then what would be the other one that kind of hasn't been filled would be like a religious element. And to see like a cult element introduced or something spiritual conceptually is such a cool fit. And I feel like that could be another faction where they get to harken back to some of the stuff that old Bungie loved to do in terms of like referencing myth and, you know, kind of these grand historical concepts and having those reappear. But holy shit, a death cult, that's amazing. And to have Lars say it, even fucking cooler. And I'm pretty sure he was the kind of contract lead, you know, so he's talking about like what quests and tasks are people doing. And I do also think that I really enjoyed the contracts that are available in the alpha, and obviously I have that video where I kind of explored those further, and I think that they align with what the companies wanted. But to see that they're going even further in that direction and making the actual mission objectives themselves something that are much more connected kind of tangibly to what the company's interests are is fucking rad to see. And I can imagine Arachne having some sadistic fucking goals, man.
The thermodynamics of violence.
Mida is all about destruction. They are going to give you grenades. They're going to give you claymores.
Oh, I love that. So fucking cool.
Blow the place up.
We're going to have to get like a Mida, fucking Nomi, how's it going? We're going to have to get like a Mida, fucking Biomata version of like the one battle after another when we get fucking Leo Viva la Resistance. We gotta get some Mida one battle after another type shit going on.
And they are irreverent and dangerous.
Wait, what was this? Hold on.
Blow the place up.
And they are...
Target match, casualty, expect minimal, casualty outcome predictions exceeded. Oh, is this like a, holy shit, is this like a Mida, like a terrorist attack?
Irreverent and dangerous. They might ask you to upload this malware into a UESC dropship, and as it leaves, it explodes and careens off into the distance.
Oh my god, look at that! That's so fucking gnarly.
Visionary.
Each of our factions has enough.
See, this, I just gotta go, I gotta go back and see it again. These are the kind of like storytelling things that like
and careens off.
I do think now with Tarkov 1.0 they have like interesting like cutscene stuff like this, but these are, you know, like the types of things that I want to see in an extract, where it's like, yeah, sometimes a new element might spawn in the map in a lot of extraction games, or any dynamic kind of multiplayer thing that maybe is unique to you or your objective or goal. But to see like actual visual elements like this in events, and like my assumption would be that other players are going to see these things occurring as well, and then they're going to be cued into, oh, they're doing that quest right now, and they might know where you're going or what you're up to. And these are the types of things where I feel like they're going to be able to like kind of push the boundaries on some of that storytelling stuff inside the matches.
We have big plans. Awesome. Explosive, visionary.
Each of our factions has an upgrade tree that you unlock progressively as you gain reputation.
Gantry.
And
Charter. Nona. Whoa, Gantry, Charter, Nona. Okay. And Gantry almost looking more of like a runner themselves, right?
Unlock progressively as you gain reputation.
Charter was the name of the Arachne one. Yeah, look at that. Oh my god. And you know what? If you look at the little card down there, I mean, it is 100% like the Baphomet satanic kind of cult visual aesthetic, which is amazing with the multiple hands. Dude, I need a fucking hoodie that has Charter on it, and it has like the metal, you know, kind of like spider webbed out text, man. Holy shit. Yeah, okay. I'm worming hard right now. Doctor, how's it going?
And along the way, you're...
And Nona. Nona's such a cute name, too.
Progressively as you gain reputation with them.
And along the way...
Oh, man. I wonder if Nona actually is like a worm. I hope that it is a cute... I mean, I get that visually now we're going to get to see the cute worm. It really is bordering on the edge of horrific, but I kind of love it. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Noah.
Way, you're going to unlock these capstones that are these special upgrades.
Allows you to disarm Claymore mines. Okay, so this is a separate upgrade tree from the top part. God, they got everything maxed out to show it off. But so up top, we're seeing like the traditional upgrades that we had in the original alpha. Obviously, probably tune, change, different or whatever. But also down here at the bottom, we have a separate, like, see it says rank 30. So when your reputation, you know, doing events that actually gain rep for individual factions, was, if we remember back to the April alpha, it was like looting certain containers gave New Cal rep, killing certain people gave Cyber Acme rep. And so those are that's like a separate skill tree that it looks like maybe you're not investing. Oh, it says purchased. Okay, so maybe you're spending credits on to upgrade that bottom row, and then that's going to give you additional kind of innate characteristics or traits. Man, what a cool way to fucking do it. The guy in the Vidoc has art director as a title. I did see that earlier. I don't know what Joseph Cross's title was. It was art director for Marathon, wasn't it? You can speak about what's been shown in the Vidoc. Yeah, true. I'm not aware that any NDA has been lifted, so I'm not saying anything too crazy. Franchise art director. Interesting. Okay, so they have different titles. Gotcha.
When you unlock that final capstone, you're gaining access to the best stuff in the market. You're getting gold items.
There it is. Okay. So the build crafting is going to be built around, okay, what are the implants and items I'm connecting with? What faction is going to be selling those? And then doing tasks and contracts focused on those so you get the build that you like, buying those with the resources and items that your credits that you have, and then deploying with that to complete the other factions. That is such a cool way to do the progression. JD, appreciate the follow, man. Yeah, that is a cool way to do the progression. And once again, it's about having the gold upgrade. That is pretty fucking rad. But it's about kind of giving that build crafting a unique feel that is attainable to have some kind of consistency, which is going to be something that people want, given that they are still ultimately restricted to the abilities that each runner has, which is fucking sick. I know it's real, JD. I'm excited.
In addition, these faction upgrades can increase your runner's base stats, and those
mean Sherpa. Get him, Nomi.
Base stat upgrades are permanent for the rest of
This is what we have to deal with. This is our
It's
Sherpa.
freaking random.
Thank you, Ace.
Season.
Dude, wait, what does that say? Lost, found? Man, the Mida. And there was some more Mida art on the outpost, I think they showed, right? They showed some Mida art around there. That graffiti is so fucking sick. Another visual element that it's so rad to see continue on from the initial ARG. A lot of those, at least stylistically, the visual elements of that art still now appearing in game is something that we've been visualizing and fucking thinking about since, that art piece was discovered in Long Beach or whatever. So fucking
Arius,
cool.
you know me. Did you miss your last round of maintenance?
Don't search. Don't dig. Don't question.
Arius?
God, just seeing these interior. Hold on, I'm going to go back so I can listen to audio piece again. But seeing the interior of the AI cores overgrown like this, and this one seems to continue even further. So I do wonder if it's a different location from the one that's on Marsh.
Last round of maintenance.
Access denied.
Darius, you know me. Did you miss your last round of maintenance?
Don't search. Don't dig. Don't question.
Darius?
Access denied.
Hey,
Access
it's
denied.
okay. It's just me.
You're not alone.
The Codex.
Interesting. Darius? Is that what she was saying? So I almost wonder if those were colony AIs communicating with each other or talking, and that we were picking that up from like some sort of audio log or something. Very Darius. Darius? Let me just hear it one more time. Sorry, guys. Oh, and look, she's downloading the data. The runner's downloading the data.
Darius, you know me. Did you miss your last round of maintenance?
Don't search. Don't dig.
Yeah, and we know maintenance is referring to what Bernard Strauss had talked about in the memo to Science and Engineering Department prior to departing on the Marathon ship, that regular maintenance has to be done on the AIs to prevent rampancy.
Don't question.
Darius?
Access denied. Access
It's
denied.
okay. It's just me.
You're not alone.
The Codex.
You are not alone. Yeah, so the combination of the fungal growth and whatever is behind that, and with the construct of the AI. So the question is that another AI we're hearing? It could be. It doesn't sound like Dr. Son and the voice actor is in the first ARG as DA. Exactly. So one of the colony AIs. Yes. Have you not heard this in game? That was not in the alpha of April, so but it's interesting to see that we are kind of coming back to a lot of that stuff that has been set up in a very meaningful way, which shows a kind of through line of some of the narrative content they've been writing. And also the question of like, was that Leela? Was that Joyu? So, you know, speculated one of these other colony AI names. That's fucking awesome.
A suite of achievements, collectibles, audio logs, things that you're finding in Run.
Oh, look at this.
We're gonna track
Look at the way,
collectibles, audio.
The Codex, career, loot, world, factions, runner.
Logs, things that you're finding in Run.
Awesome, dude.
That we're gonna.
I mean,
track for you
exactly.
over time.
Exactly what we've been talking about is having some way to kind of go and review this information and like a meaningful, cool, in-universe visual presentation, like you're operating this terminal. And it seems also like obviously that's going to hold stuff other than just kind of like narrative lore tidbits, but also player stats and, you know, information about loot and stuff like that, locations and things.
The more you find these items, the more story you're unlocking about them and what.
Mouth, friend mouth, the burger. Oh my God. Whoa, we get a new T9 cheeseburger. Yeah, I got my Codex. Holy shit. Holy moly. Somehow missed the Codex when you played. Damn, okay. This is a video and talking about a Codex. I was trying not to comment. Oh, I feel you. Okay, new T9 cheeseburger here. Holy shit. And obviously still in liquid form because you get like a straw on either side. The mouth and friend mouth is incredible. 2 burgers, a meal for 2. Date night's on me. Oh my dude, we got to get this as like a fucking little desk object we can fucking buy. Yeah, very romantic. A T18 date burger. Yeah, thank you, Sindep. Date night confirmed.
Their role is in the world, why they're here.
Me and Glitch.
Who cared about
me and
them,
Thief, probably,
why they're as valuable as they are.
I'm repeating myself
Locust
with
is
these
a friendly
entries,
fella.
but any fears inherent in the scope of this endeavor seem unfounded.
Within the Codex, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can unlock. Runner skins, weapon skins.
I wonder whose voice that
weapon
was.
Charms, stickers, emblems, backgrounds for your profile, and titles.
So it's everything from your first steps on the world of Tau City 4 all the way through to becoming a vid master and taking on the most extreme challenges.
They are waiting. Is this the last? Okay, we got one more chapter after this. Cryo
The Marathon
Archive.
ship
Oh
is
my
the hardest
God.
place to survive in this game. And if
Wow. Okay. Incredible. And look, you can see some of the degradation of the biomodel that's laying right here. I think it looks like a blackbird, I think. So it looks like the arms kind of peel away to this blue. Oh my God. And the shit's frozen. I wonder if we're going to get any visual cues that link back to any kind of original map design from, you know, inside the Marathon ship. Oh my God. I've never seen it. I've never seen any Marathon ship stuff, man.
you're not ready to take your best stuff, well, you're not going to survive.
Wow, the kind of cross sections of shit that's been destroyed. This is...
It's like a heist for a
Oh
run.
my God. Appreciate it. I ain't got no water with me there, Tommy. Appreciate you. I'm gonna have to get that after this.
Water.
Cryo should slow runner decay. Well, we know that the kind of water, at least in the alpha, the water was doing that. And I think earlier they showed some stuff about that maybe. So I'd imagine that, yeah, the actual conditions are going to affect your overheat. Man. I'm just trying to see if we can
Cryo
tell anything about
Archive
these
is
loading
big
bays.
in and of itself, but it's also cold. It's also hostile.
It's gonna test every aspect of the survival game.
I believe the fourth level? The third or fourth level maybe of Marathon 1, you kind of are running, maybe it's a little bit after that. Early on in Marathon 1, you're going through an area where you see kind of the stasis pods, cryo, whatever you want to call it, for people who were put to sleep prior to leaving on the Marathon instead of the Bobs who were living on board the ship. And they are kind of like these pods that are like laid flat into the wall. So I almost wonder if this is kind of like the visual concept of that location where all the people were, you know, being held in stasis basically until the colony was established.
Probably gonna be forced to run to players in ways you haven't been on other maps. You're gonna run into basically every type of environmental threat you have faced before. You're gonna fight a who's who of the highest tier UESC units, and the UESC are there in this presence you haven't seen before.
So sick. dude, and obviously all these kind of massive, you know, mega structure kind of ship items. I didn't really, you know, honestly, I didn't really like conceptualize that as an element, because like obviously the original Marathon, like the largest that you see is like an open room that's the size of like an auditorium, which is probably more of like a technological limitation. There's a few bigger areas, and obviously like towards the end of the game when you're going through on the lava area. Crota, thank you. But the concept of having kind of almost like a mega structure feel is something that I didn't really fully conceptualize until now, but then seeing some of these larger structures, man, that could create some really, really cool scenarios to fight in. Equivalent of labs from Tarkov or Stellamontis from Ark, yeah, kind of in-game areas, what they had talked about earlier. Imagine taking all your gold loot in on these ones.
It's really cool because each of the vaults is more successively challenging than the next.
Oh, wow. Okay, wait, so is this the first in-game view that we're getting of this fit?
And that 7th
or
vault,
is that something else? Hold on.
Because each of the vaults is more successively challenging than the...
Yeah, it looks like it could be kind of like a body bag or something, Haney.
Next. And that 7th vault is where you both are going to get the coolest thing, but also where you're going to learn the most about what happened to this place.
At some point in your journey in Cryo Archive, you might start wondering if the UAC are there.
Oh, see, yeah, it kind of looks... yeah, not compiler, yeah, because it looks like these...
in your journey in Cryo Archive, you might start wondering if...
Yeah, these body bags. Human, oh my god. Frozen asset. Okay, interesting. Oh, so this must be when they're kind of like removed from stasis. Or maybe this is literally how they're stored. God damn. Wait, so there's... Interesting that there's still some frozen human assets on board the Marathon, which kind of indicates that over that initial 10-year period when the, you know, colonies getting established, there were some being held even longer.
If the UAC
won't put the compiler in a narrow hallway. Okay, interesting.
There to keep you out, or if they're actually there to keep something else in.
A human body. Oh my god. Okay.
Nice.
Wait, are we about to see it in match? Is that why they?
I think the thing that I'm most excited about for Marathon is...
Wait. Hold on. You're just gonna show that and not say anything?
Keep you out, or if they're actually there to keep something else in.
What is there? What is on the ship? Wow. Okay. So, am I crazy? Most similar to like Marathon 2? Yeah, it's beefy. Beefy indeed. Very wide. It feels very Marathon 2 to me. God, this like all chrome shoulder portion as well. Marathon 2's fit, yeah. The John Marathon, you would know, brother. Thank you. Prod handsome shoulders, wife them up. Thank you, Traxxas. Yeah, wow, look at the smoothness of all of this. I wish we could have seen like kind of the opening up and what the attack looks like for it. And this is
something else in.
Seemingly on the Marathon map itself, maybe? It's obviously like an interior space. I guess we can't really tell. Almost, what is that thing over its left shoulder? Interesting. Okay. So I wonder if they are going to be locked to the Marathon ship map, which is kind of what we speculated prior, having seen it in the original teaser and the cinematic. I kind of was thinking it was on the ship. CBF got a nice visual upgrade. Yeah, the compiler breeding facility is coming along handsomely. Grand, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. Interesting. Ray's looking at the compiler. Oh, I have no idea, Xavier. I'm sorry about that. I don't know. They're set to the lowest they can go on Twitch, so.
Nice.
I think the thing that I'm most excited about for Marathon is getting into the hands of our players.
The big...
Oh my god. Fellini, it's there! Fellini! I love this as inspiration to have while they're making the game, just ready to go.
Biggest thing I want people to take away
looks like a
from
dungeon
Marathon
boss. Interesting.
Is that it still feels amazing. It still feels like it has that spark.
It takes all the aspects that I think Bungie is really good at. First-person feel and gunplay, the super deep, crazy sci-fi lore, and it mixes up all those things together in a really amazing PvP package.
Really comes down to...
Oh, there we go. Dude, Lars is just the man, dude. Lars is the man. Lars really... I mean, that's That's the summary. That's what we're thinking. That's what the fuck we're thinking, man. Good golly.
Every single discipline that's working on the game, the animation has to be good, the sound has to be good, everything has to be working in harmony.
That's when the controller fades away, the screen fades away, you're just immersed in the world.
That is what we're trying to live up to with Marathon.
It is a mad dash. I'm not going to front about that. It's a mad dash to the finish, but that's when you got to put in the elbow grease and the extra sweat and blood it takes to get this done.
Dude, what is this? What is it? Let's go. 5 people next
Oh, yeah. Okay. I do like the idea of showing that as something that they're trying to build around. March 2026. Damn. Oh, wait, sorry, guys. It's actually 2893, so just a few hundred more years. Wow. Wow. Okay. March 2026. No date. Somebody had given a date earlier, but obviously I would assume that, like, if there's not a date in here, we probably don't for sure have a date. Yeah, putting in the effort is 300% there, yeah. Well, I think it's also indicative of, like, clearly if they're at this point where they're, like, having to put in a bunch of elbow grease and build off of, concepts right now, these are all ideas that are coming from feedback. Like, realistically, they were going to launch this game back in September, and so the idea of how they had planned out that work was centered on what they were thinking. And so now this work has to be centered on the feedback that they've received about the game over this time. I mean, altogether, I think that was awesome to see, to get like a full TV length episode Vidoc from Bungie is incredible way to show the game. I think based off the feedback from how like their live event was received and how they chose to roll out the stuff initially, this seems like a course correction that's in line with what a lot of people wanted. So it's cool to see that. I hope that people kind of recognize that and are willing to kind of meet the game where it's at in that capacity. I do think also that, like, obviously, like, my initial hesitation with, like, not like remove, but like treating the runners a little bit differently would be like, oh, there was so much cool narrative stuff that seemed kind of set up within the cinematic and the initial stuff that we saw about the runners in game, that would make me think that they were going to build on the idea of these characters and how they interact with the world a lot more. But my kind of idea of like losing that from a narrative component is kind of not as problematic, in the sense that the shift of focus to the environment and the larger world storytelling and kind of leaving that behind is something that I think will probably be received a lot better than that initial approach. And while I don't think that necessarily, because like ultimately what people want is for the same feedback that they've been getting is that, hey, move away from characters altogether. We don't want any kind of hero shooter elements or whatever they're going to call it. But I do think that like focusing on the fact that the way that you play your character is based off this build crafting system, which has a lot to do with the implants and the cores and the weapons and the weapon modifications, and like really what you're picking is what set of abilities are you going to load into with. And obviously there's a visual characteristic attached to it, but for them to just clearly come out and say, which I think is interesting, that this is evident. Another thing where it's like they're clearly focusing on what are the actual problems people have, and for Julia Nerd to come out and say like, you are not Thief or Loki, you are the person, you're a person, and you've gotten rid of your body and you're going inside of these runner shells. And yes, there's a personality matrix, maybe was the word that they used, but like that does not mean that you are literally this person. So for them to give a much stronger level of clarity around that and how they're going to approach it, I think is very cool. It is interesting to me because like I think that they fixed a lot of the critiques that people are going to have. I'm just very curious to see how people are going to respond to it. I mean, everything from, I'm so biased, so it's difficult, for me to conceptualize what the actual response is going to be. Because to me, it's like, okay, it seems like all of the, other than the idea that like people just aren't interested in playing an extraction shooter from Bungie in this world, which, you know, if you're not interested, you're not interested. But it seems like all of the criticisms that they largely had were largely addressed in some capacity to kind of resolve the issue. So I'm happy that this is out. I'm definitely going to kind of sit on a lot of these things. I'm going to go back through this and pick it apart and watch it. And I'll probably do a video maybe with some more thoughts as I kind of digest what we've seen. But man, what a cool showing. Fucking rad. Really happy they kept pushing. They pulled an OG bungo with this Vidoc. My main want is to see the story of Marathon explored more in this game. And I like the new art style, yeah. Well, I don't even say that it's like a new art style, right? It's just, that's the thing. It's interesting. I feel like some of the language that they're using is meant to respond to critiques that, like, from my perspective, the art style looks amazing, but this just feels to me like exactly what I thought it was going to look like based off the alpha. Maybe I'm crazy, but it seems like this is exactly what I was imagining it would look like when the polish and finishing and the full textures. You know, we had a 6-7 gig alpha experience. This is exactly what I thought the game was going to look like. So it is cool. And same with them talking about the narrative direction. And I believe some of the language they use in here was like the tone of the original stuff. It's like, well, I think I'm glad that they're saying that, because I think it's addressing like a critique that's been given. And the long-winded answer probably would have been John Goff sitting down, and maybe this is a marketing approach that they were using and moved away from, would have been John Goff and Julian Arden sitting down and really outlining what they've done with the narrative and how it correlates with those things. But once again, it all feels like stuff that, you know, ultimately how I imagined it kind of going towards. Should do everything to make a great game, but not by killing their devs to meet the deadline. If they do, then it will be unsustainable for the future. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that's what all the time was for, right? Changes mostly just in the names, to be honest. Yeah. Once again, though, it does feel like they're kind of just they're formatting what the game is to respond to the critiques while largely standing by their vision, which is something that I respect. But yeah, you know, saying that they're changing it in some substantial way, but when really what they're trying to do is like outline like what are the actual elements that are going to give people that kind of level of customizability that will, you know, make them happy. Martin, good. Thank you, Taco. Jake buys by Marathon. A little bit, perhaps. Yeah, in the absence of names, yeah. You too. Yeah, there we go. Debut called Hacking that could be applied to you. What is it? Wonder if at some point I missed that. I didn't see it here. A debuff? Oh, a debuff. A debuff called Hacking. Okay. And the same art genre. Yeah. Escape will make me God. Subtitle got changed to Death is the first step. Interesting. Is that on this outro? Did I miss that on here? Where are you seeing that? I want to get another look of the Codex Marathon ship. Maybe it's here. Let me just play this. Go look at any game's alpha. They will not have all the textures looking 4K at that point, but do it launch. Yeah, true. It is. Oh, wait a few more seconds. Okay, here at the end. Did I miss it again? Vision of Marathon, Bungie, Vidoc. Oh, death is the first step. Okay, yeah, right down there on the bottom. Interesting. Interesting. Well, but they did have, well, they didn't, you're right, they didn't have Escapable Maybe God because they were talking about the in the heavens they are waiting in the beginning. Interesting. Interesting. Art is very nice and it fits Marathon vibe like they put it. I will say this though, please give 4 bungo, right? Yeah. People wanted to see the 4. Interesting. Arachne approved subtitle, yeah. Arachne, the death cult. Man, that is probably the coolest, my coolest takeaway from this. I mean, it is cool seeing like the compiler like realized in the visual style of like what we're going to actually experience in game. But yeah, getting the
Other
stuff
games,
about Arachne
fight to survive another day. Marathon, fuck you, die.
Yeah, right. Oh my god, dude. Just on a Monday, dropping it raw on a Monday morning. Holy shit, dude.